Stop. Stillness called before the mind could scroll further. This message arrives through precision, not chance. Timing speaks louder than noise, and today timing speaks clearly. Presence brought awareness here for a reason beyond surface meaning. I speak as SHI HENG. Years within discipline reveal patterns unseen by hurried eyes. Moments like this mark transition, not entertainment. Recognition stands at the door of inner readiness. Today carries a message framed as congratulations, yet misunderstood by many. This recognition celebrates endurance, not applause. It honors restraint, patience, and quiet strength built during unseen battles. Such recognition arrives only after the ego softens and awareness sharpens. Remain here until the final words. Understanding unfolds in layers, not fragments. Leaving early steals the deepest clarity. Staying allows alignment between mind, body, and purpose. Within this transmission, ancient Shaolin wisdom meets modern restlessness. Truths shared rarely reach the distracted crowd. They reach those prepared to listen beyond comfort. Guidance emerges for closing one cycle and stepping into another with calm authority. This message matters because direction shapes destiny. Without direction, strength scatters. With direction, even silence becomes powerful action. Every principle shared today restores inner command over fear, doubt, and delay. Attention now becomes an act of respect toward inner growth. Each sentence carries weight meant to steady the spirit. Nothing here seeks to impress. Everything seeks to align. Welcome to Shaolin Divine Flow. This space exists for discipline, clarity, and awakening strength. Subscribe and walk this path together. Grounded in stillness and guided by truth. Pause. Awareness arrived before the mind could question it. This message did not cross your path by coincidence. In disciplined life, nothing meaningful appears without alignment. When timing, attention, and inner readiness meet, guidance reveals itself naturally. Many passed this moment without noticing. Many scrolled beyond it without feeling the pull. That difference matters. Synchronicity works quietly. It does not announce itself. It simply places the right signal in front of the right person at the right moment. Today that signal reached you. Life moves through patterns, not chaos. Each experience prepares the next. When resistance softens and awareness sharpens, certain doors open on their own. This is one of those doors. The day carries significance because inner timing now matches outer timing. Without that harmony, this message would remain invisible. Synchronicity is not luck, it is recognition. A recognition between inner state and external message. When discipline, patience, and reflection accumulate, awareness becomes sensitive enough to notice subtle guidance. Those without stillness miss it. Those without patience dismiss it. Those without courage ignore it. Yet you remain present. Consider how many moments in life seemed random until clarity arrived later. Only then did the pattern reveal itself. This moment belongs to that same design. Awareness paused here because something within you is ready to move forward without force or fear. This day holds weight, not because of numbers or calendars, but because internal cycles shift quietly. Old questions lose urgency. Old doubts lose authority. Space opens for understanding rather than struggle. That opening allows this message to reach you now and not before. When inner noise fades, guidance no longer needs to shout. It appears calmly. It waits patiently, and it finds those prepared to receive it. Congratulations does not arrive here as celebration for wealth, status, or recognition. This congratulations speaks to survival at a deeper level. It honors the ability to remain standing while unseen pressure tested every part of you. It acknowledges the strength required to move forward without certainty, applause, or reassurance. Many mistake success for arrival. In disciplined life, success means endurance. It means staying committed when motivation fades. It means maintaining integrity when shortcuts appear tempting. This congratulations recognizes that kind of strength, the kind built quietly without witnesses. There were moments when progress felt invisible. Effort seemed unnoticed. Questions grew heavier than answers. Yet you continued. That continuation matters more than any visible achievement. Spiritual survival requires patience that outlasts frustration and awareness that remains steady through uncertainty. This recognition also honors restraint, knowing when not to react, knowing when to remain silent, knowing when to walk away without explanation. These are victories rarely celebrated, yet they shape inner authority. Every time restraint was chosen over impulse, strength deepened. Material success can be gained and lost repeatedly. Inner stability, once built, becomes a foundation. This congratulations recognizes the foundation forming within you. Calm under pressure, clarity during confusion, presence when distractions multiply. Survival at this level demands discipline, rising without enthusiasm, continuing without reward, trusting process without immediate proof. Few reach this stage because it requires letting go of validation. Yet those who do discover something stronger than motivation, alignment. Alignment brings steadiness. Steadiness brings confidence. Confidence brings direction. This progression does not announce itself. It unfolds silently, noticed only by those who live from awareness rather than urgency. This congratulations marks a threshold crossed, not an ending, a recognition that inner ground now feels firmer. From this point, movement becomes intentional rather than reactive. Strength no longer seeks permission. Much of what you endured never received a name. Struggles unfolded quietly without witnesses or validation. Smiles were worn while weight pressed inward. Words remained unspoken because explaining would change nothing. Silence became the place where endurance was tested daily. Pressure arrived in subtle ways. Expectations without guidance. Responsibility without support. Doubt without reassurance. These moments shape inner strength more than dramatic events ever could. Each time composure was chosen over collapse, stability formed beneath the surface. There were nights when the mind refused rest. Questions repeated without answers. Fatigue grew heavy, yet resolve remained. Rising again required strength unseen by the world. That strength was not accidental. It was forged through repetition, patience, and restraint. Quiet endurance often feels unnoticed. Progress moves slowly. Recognition rarely appears. Yet this is where resilience grows. In stillness, awareness deepens. In solitude, clarity sharpens. What felt isolating was preparing independence from external approval. Inner battles rarely announce themselves. Fear disguises itself as hesitation. Doubt pretends to be realism. Discouragement arrives as logic. Recognizing these patterns required awareness beyond emotion. Each time you observed rather than obeyed them, authority strengthened within. Silence also teaches listening. Without constant noise, truth surfaces naturally. Limits become visible. Strength becomes measurable. Through silence, you learned which thoughts deserved attention and which needed release. That discernment marks growth. Many would have escaped through distraction. Many would have surrendered to frustration, yet presence remained. Continuity was chosen over comfort. This choice accumulates power slowly, then suddenly. Surviving quietly reshapes identity. External noise loses influence. Comparison fades. Inner reference replaces outer approval. This shift does not demand recognition. It demands honesty. The battles faced without audience now stand as proof of readiness. Endurance practiced privately becomes stability expressed naturally. And stability, once rooted, cannot be easily shaken. Waiting was not empty time. It was structured pressure. Fate was tested through uncertainty, not reassurance. Answers stayed distant so attention could turn inward. Confusion forced observation. Delay demanded patience beyond comfort. Impatience reveals attachment. Waiting loosens it. Each pause stripped away expectation and strengthened trust in process rather than outcome. Without clarity, discipline became the anchor. Movement continued even when direction felt blurred. That continuity mattered. Confusion serves a purpose. It interrupts false certainty. It humbles the mind. It removes dependence on control. When plans dissolved, awareness adapted. Flexibility replaced rigidity. This adaptation prepared resilience needed for what comes next. Delays trained restraint. Reacting prematurely often creates more obstacles. Learning to hold position, to breathe through uncertainty, to remain present without forcing progress builds stability. Progress delayed is not progress denied. It is progress refined. Faith matured during moments without confirmation. Belief without evidence strengthened inner trust. This trust does not rely on external signals. It operates quietly, guiding decisions even when logic hesitates. That guidance becomes reliable only after repeated testing. Waiting also revealed priorities. When movement slowed, distractions lost urgency. Essentials became clear. Values surfaced. This clarity cannot form in constant motion. It requires stillness imposed by circumstance. Frustration appeared as resistance to timing. Releasing that resistance softened experience. Acceptance did not mean surrender. It meant alignment with rhythm beyond personal urgency. Rhythm carries momentum once resistance dissolves. Many abandon the path during delay. Endurance separates preparation from impulse. Remaining steady during uncertainty sharpened perception. Small signals became noticeable. Subtle opportunities appeared. Patience is not passive. It is active awareness sustained over time. Through waiting, readiness formed. Through confusion, adaptability grew. Through delay, strength consolidated. This testing phase built inner timing. When movement resumes, it will feel natural, not rushed. Direction will emerge with clarity born from restraint rather than urgency. This day carries weight beyond numbers, not because of tradition or ceremony, but because thresholds appear quietly. A threshold marks passage. One side holds what shaped you. The other opens into what awaits alignment. Moments like this arrive when internal cycles complete. Lessons finish teaching. Resistance loosens its grip. Awareness recognizes readiness without excitement or fear. This recognition defines a threshold. Movement no longer feels forced. Stillness no longer feels heavy. Time works through rhythm, not urgency. Certain days resonate because inner timing aligns with outer timing. This alignment creates clarity. Decisions feel simpler. Direction feels steadier. Doubt loses authority. That is why this day stands apart. A threshold does not announce arrival. It invites crossing. It asks for presence rather than action, awareness rather than reaction. Standing here allows reflection without regret. The past no longer pulls. The future no longer rushes. This moment signals release. Old weight dissolves naturally. Emotional residue fades. Patterns that once repeated lose relevance. What once demanded effort now feels complete. This completion creates space. Space invites choice. Choice invites responsibility. Responsibility strengthens authority. Authority grounded in awareness becomes calm leadership of self. This transition does not require celebration. It requires acknowledgement. Many miss thresholds because they seek dramatic signs. True transitions arrive softly. They feel like quiet certainty rather than excitement. Calm replaces tension. Acceptance replaces urgency. Presence replaces anticipation. This day does not change life by itself. It marks readiness to change life through conscious movement. That distinction matters. Action taken from readiness differs from action taken from pressure. One sustains, the other exhausts. Standing at a threshold clarifies intention. Direction aligns naturally. Energy stops leaking into unnecessary struggle. Effort becomes focused. Movement becomes efficient. Not every day offers this clarity. When it arrives, awareness must meet it. This meeting happens now, not by chance, by preparation completed and patience honored. Crossing happens internally first. External changes follow naturally. Recognition of the threshold allows that process to unfold without force. Something heavy no longer needs to be carried. A chapter shaped by effort, endurance, and repetition has reached its natural end, not because it was avoided, but because it was fully lived. Lessons delivered everything they were meant to teach. Holding on beyond this point would only repeat what has already been understood. Pain often lingers when meaning remains unclear. Once clarity arrives, pain loses its grip. What once felt unfair now appears purposeful. Experiences align into pattern. Struggle reveals structure. This understanding marks closure. Closure does not erase memory. It releases its weight. Karmic cycles operate through repetition until awareness breaks the loop. Reactions, once automatic, now pause. Emotional triggers lose intensity. Old wounds no longer demand attention. This shift signals release. Energy previously tied to unresolved patterns becomes available for growth. Ending a cycle does not always feel dramatic. Often it feels quiet. Relief arrives without announcement. Tension dissolves subtly. Breathing deepens naturally. The nervous system recognizes safety again. This recognition matters. Certain relationships, thoughts, and habits belong to that cycle. Their influence fades without conflict. Detachment happens organically. No force required. What no longer resonates simply loses relevance. This is how karmic release operates when awareness leads. Completion brings neutrality. The past no longer pulls forward. It becomes reference rather than burden. Experiences integrate into wisdom. Wisdom carries no resentment, only understanding. Many fear endings because identity feels attached to struggle. Yet struggle was never identity. It was a phase of formation. With its completion, identity stabilizes. Inner ground strengthens. As cycles close, space opens. Space allows clarity. Clarity invites intention. This progression feels lighter because resistance has dissolved. Energy moves freely again. Releasing a heavy cycle does not mean forgetting. It means honoring without attachment. Growth requires this balance. Carrying gratitude instead of weight. This release marks readiness for a different quality of experience. Not easier, but cleaner. Not louder, but clearer. The chapter served its purpose. Its closing restores momentum without strain. Strength never appeared fully formed. It was earned, layer by layer, through choices that required discipline when desire pulled elsewhere. Every small act of restraint, every moment of patience, added weight to a foundation unseen. This foundation now supports movement that does not wobble under pressure. Discipline shaped your attention. Focus sharpened through repetition, through showing up even when motivation waned. Each time you chose presence over distraction, self-mastery grew. This was not convenience. This was intentional training, invisible to the world, but undeniable within. Restraint built control. Impulses were observed and tempered rather than acted upon. Silence replaced reaction. Observation replaced judgment. What once triggered agitation now passes like a shadow without effect. That control became internal authority, allowing choices to reflect intention rather than habit. Awareness emerged from stillness. Through reflection and observation, clarity developed. Patterns once unnoticed became visible. You learned to distinguish between noise and signal, between what demanded attention and what required release. Awareness became a compass guiding action with precision. Strength forged in this way is quiet but unshakable. It does not need recognition. It does not boast. It functions naturally, like roots holding a tree steady through storms. Those who rush seek visible power. Those who cultivate in silence achieve stability that outlasts circumstance. Endurance, patience, and observation work together. One reinforced the other. Discipline created space for awareness. Awareness guided restraint. Restraint solidified discipline. The cycle repeated, slowly but persistently, until it became habit. Habit became identity. Identity became unshakable presence. External challenges tested this inner formation repeatedly. Each time you responded with calm rather than reaction, with focus rather than distraction, with patience rather than urgency, the structure deepened. What emerged is not temporary. It cannot be borrowed or given. It can only be built from within. This strength does not call attention to itself. It is revealed quietly through composure, clarity, and the effortless command of self. Growth demanded letting go, not as a loss, but as a necessary transformation. Some people, once familiar, no longer aligned with the path you were forming. Their energy, once comfortable, began to feel heavy. Stepping back was not rejection, it was preservation. Presence requires discernment, and discernment requires distance. Old habits too, lost their relevance. Patterns that once offered comfort now restrained progress. Repetition without purpose became unnecessary weight. Release did not come easily. Familiarity tugs, even when it no longer serves. Yet each moment of restraint, each choice to step away, strengthened independence. Habit surrendered power to awareness. Identity itself transformed. Versions of self rooted in expectation, fear, or external validation faded. What remained was authenticity, stripped of performance and pretense. The person you were yesterday could no longer navigate the path you are now stepping onto. Letting go was not abandonment. It was evolution. Distance revealed clarity. Without constant influence, vision sharpened. Choices became intentional rather than reactionary. The past no longer dictated movement. Space opened for alignment with purpose rather than attachment. This separation was not a punishment, but a necessary refinement. Solitude became an ally. In quiet reflection, insight deepened. Emotional dependence softened, allowing confidence to emerge from internal authority rather than external approval. Each step away from the old self reinforced stability, resilience, and self-trust. The process was subtle, almost imperceptible day by day, yet undeniable in reflection. Strength no longer relies on approval. Peace no longer depends on familiarity. The self that remains after shedding layers stands firm, capable of facing what comes next with clarity and calm. Separation does not isolate, it liberates. It clears space for intention, focus, and authenticity. Growth requires this shedding. Only through release can transformation be complete. What emerges is not lesser, but truer, stronger, and unshakable in its presence. Clarity settles like morning light after a long night. The turbulence that once clouded perception has softened. Decisions no longer feel heavy or rushed. Calm emerges not from avoidance, but from understanding. When the mind quiets, direction reveals itself naturally. A higher path is not marked by grandeur or recognition. It is sensed in alignment. Thoughts, actions, and intentions begin to resonate with an inner rhythm that feels effortless yet precise. Each step forward carries intention rather than impulse. Movement becomes guided by insight rather than reaction. The noise of the past diminishes. Comparisons, regrets, and distractions lose their pull. What once demanded attention now appears trivial. Awareness anchors in the present, allowing the mind to act from focus rather than anxiety. This is the essence of alignment, the internal world shaping the external with clarity and purpose. Opportunities present themselves with subtle cues. Intuition speaks louder than doubt. Choices flow with less friction. Energy once scattered now concentrates on what truly matters. The sense of being adrift is replaced by trust in timing, trust in readiness, and trust in the unfolding path. Alignment also fosters resilience. Challenges still arise, but they no longer shake the foundation. Calm remains when chaos attempts intrusion. Confidence is no longer loud or defensive. It is steady, quiet, and unassailable. Each decision reinforces this stability. Each step affirms direction. This path does not promise ease. It promises presence. Presence allows perception to deepen. It allows wisdom to act before confusion appears. It allows the self to operate in harmony with what is unfolding rather than against it. Now, with internal tension eased and guidance accessible, movement feels natural. Momentum emerges without force. Focus sharpens without strain. Life responds not to effort alone, but to the alignment cultivated through patience, restraint, and understanding. On this path, the world no longer dictates the pace. The self moves deliberately, guided by clarity, grounded in calm, and directed by a higher awareness that was patiently cultivated through every challenge faced. Now, take a moment to breathe and feel the stillness within. You have endured, you have grown, and you have arrived at this moment of recognition. Life has guided you here not by chance but with intention. Let this message remind you that every struggle, every pause, every lesson has prepared you for what is next. If this message touched your heart, give it your support. Like this video and subscribe to Shaolin Divine Flow. Join a community committed to growth, awareness, and inner strength. Walk this path with presence, patience, and purpose. Remember this above all. The journey was never about reaching a destination. It was about discovering the strength, clarity, and calm that was already within you. And now, with every breath, you carry it forward, unshaken, unbound, and ready for the life that awaits.